Are peace deal talks with Iran and the United States falling apart already? We were going to talk about that today. Hey everybody, welcome back to another beautiful day in real estate. Today we're going to dissect a little bit about the Iran war, the talks in Pakistan right now, and what next steps are going to look like. So let's jump into interest rates right away. Interest rates relatively unmoved. Everybody and the world is kind of waiting for these peace deal talks to essentially have a conclusion. Sounds like things are moving forward. It was a bit of a rocky weekend. Again, give us 2 minutes and we'll explain what that means. So, but outside of that, let's talk about oil this morning. Oil is, let's start with the spot Brent crude oil on the daily chart. We saw a little push up under the weekend, and now we are starting to fall back down once again. Again, if we break below the $77 a barrel, there's really no major support all the way down to, I would say, the next point of resistance would be $73 a barrel. We'll kind of pay close attention to that, but as of right now, I'm not saying any positive momentum, lower volume. RSI is not looking good. Stochastic RSI is also looking pretty rough right about now. So even though we had a rough weekend in Pakistan, we will find out today what things look like here very soon. Same thing with WTI crude oil. Again, if we break below this support, where's our next spot from here? Let's say right here is about where we're going to be. If we fall off from here, the next spot is basically $70 a barrel. So we're starting to see, I'm starting to see the trend here. But again, things aren't looking phenomenal. Stochastic RSI is looking pretty rough right now. The RSI is not looking any better. So my guess is more than likely we're going to continue to see oil prices kind of stay at least between this channel this week, but more than likely going to break below it unless we see something major come out of the Iran-United States deal from the weekend, which is happening currently. I'm sorry, it wasn't Pakistan. It was Switzerland they're in right now. Jeez Louise, still trying to put my week together. It's been a long weekend, but we're back to it. So nothing too crazy happened there, but it does pose the question. What's next? What are we expecting? So again, give us 2 minutes and we'll jump into that. SpaceX is showing its colors this morning. A pre-market open right now is $10 lower than it was come Friday close. We did see some green here at the bottom, major sell-off, major buy-up, but as the market opens this morning, we got about 25 minutes till it does. My guess is we're going to break below and probably keep heading down, more than likely. Again, it's the IPO hype where everything runs for a minute and then they come back down. It could head up, it could bounce, but again, we did a video last week talking a little bit about SpaceX and where they were working on getting things moving. Although they have great aspirations, they don't have any real product yet in order to prove that the company's worth, what was it, almost $2.7 trillion or $1.7 trillion. So whether people want to, think about it or not, when there's a T behind the number, that is a pretty big number, right? So for us to be at a number where we're the number 4 highest valued company, and it was upon IPO, it's exciting, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to argue the same fact every time, which is we don't necessarily have a reason for it to be there other than the fact that the person backing it, the person IPOing it, is the richest man in the world. So, people are going to argue then it definitely should be good, everything should run, we should have a great week, blah, blah, blah. But again, there's nothing really arguing the fact that it's going to be a positive week and we're going to head up to $3-4 trillion in market value. So be patient, be close to the chest, and be vigilant, because more than likely this price is going to move down than up this week, but we'll see as the week progresses. 10-year Treasury bonds, we did bounce right off of that major support right around that 4.43 range a couple of times over the last week, and now we're starting to head back up. Again, I think the big portion to this has to do with the fact that, apparently when, let's just jump into it. Apparently when, let's listen to this and we'll talk about it for a second, just a minute long. So.
No, they didn't throw a wrench in the system. The thing with the Iranians, yes, they did threaten to walk out, or at least there were social media threats that they would walk out. But we were negotiating well past 1 in the morning yesterday, so they didn't walk out. And their technical team is still here in Bergenstock working with our technical team actually as we speak, though I imagine maybe some of them are taking a break to watch this news conference. But look, what we told the Iranians yesterday is, when you guys engage in what us millennials might call trash talk, you can't expect the President of the United States not to respond and not to correct the record. So when they say things that aren't true, the President is going to respond to it. I'm going to respond to it. Americans are going to respond to it. When they make threats that aren't rooted in reality, they have to accept that the President of the United States is actually going to set the record straight. That's all that happened. So yes, there was a little bit of threatening, there was a little bit of whining, but at the end of the day, the talks continued and we made great progress.
Okay, so what happened was is in Saturday morning, essentially, when they were in Switzerland and everybody was shaking hands, kissing babies, and doing the thing, Iran basically snubbed the United States. It didn't feel like shaking hands and basically gave them the cold shoulder as they walked in. All weekend long, there was talks back and forth across the board, basically saying that the Strait of Hormuz is closed again, that Iran's going to be charging a toll. The United States is saying no, it's not. And then really by the end of the weekend, they're saying talks are continuing to move forward and we are moving towards a positive resolution. 60-day ceasefire continues, etc., etc. Now, this is the dangerous part about media, right? Because I don't honestly, out of all the stuff that I saw this weekend, really, there's no credible direct answer on what was going on there, other than the fact that you see a couple of videos where the prime minister doesn't shake hands with JD Vance. That could have been at any point throughout that meeting. We take things way too literal off a video and we don't really know the context, right? It's the idea of where we currently are in a time where everybody sees 10 seconds of what's going on and there's a bit of a tunnel vision, but nobody looks at the other 20 or 30 seconds on either side of the spectrum to really figure out what happened. And that's kind of where we are on this. It's good to see that we're moving in a positive notion. I think negotiations are going to be slowed quite a bit. Everybody kind of expected the world to go back to normal over the weekend, and I don't think that's the case. We still have some time where these world leaders are going to want to talk and go over things and pick out the things that make most sense, and kind of go from there. But let's talk about the encouraging progress side of things. So Bull Theory is somebody that I've been paying way more attention to most recently. Great content, great stuff. So we'll keep bringing their stuff to attention. It says breaking: U.S. and Iran says they made encouraging progress in the Switzerland and agreed on a roadmap to reach a final deal within 60 days, according to a joint statement released by Qatar and Pakistan. Key statement points out high-level U.S. Iran talks conclude in Switzerland. Working groups formed on nuclear issues, sanctions and dispute resolution. Direct communication line established to avoid incidents in Strait of Hormuz. This is a big one. I think we need to get oil moving. There was a what was it? There was something I listened to this morning talking about. Trump said there was only 4 weeks left in reserves or something crazy like that. And if that was the case and we ran out, then we'd have to pull from different countries. Didn't listen to the whole thing this morning. I was in the gym, kind of sidetracked, but we'll keep diving in. Confliction cell created to support the Lebanon ceasefire. If Israel doesn't stop the ceasefire bullshit, which is essentially what started the whole thing to begin with, is that Iran was saying that Israel was not following the peace deal. They were still attacking South Lebanon. And that was why they didn't want to move forward with peace talks. If Israel keeps causing an issue, even the United States says we're done protecting you and we're no longer going to continue protecting you. So that being said, we're making progress, but it's very slow progress. I mean, it's good to see things moving forward, but we really don't know what to expect as of right now. So the deconflict, and then let's see, technical talks continued this week in Bergenstock, Switzerland. Iran's FM Araghchi said mediated talks involving Pakistan and Qatar developed major progress on the Lebanon conflict, including waived oil and petrochemical export restrictions, lifting the blockade, partial release of frozen assets, and the reconstruction plan launched for Iran. He cautioned that the first real test will be the operational rollout of the Lebanon deconfliction cell. So the big problem that we're walking into currently is that, again, until Israel is really on board and starts holding up their end of the deal, we're going to continue to see things go back and forth. However, we're moving into a new week. We have positive movements. We've seen a lot of good stuff happen so far. We're going to keep this video short and smooth to the point this week. The Iran war is moving towards ceasefire, continued ceasefire and an ending and a peace deal and all that fun stuff, which is good news. Oil prices are starting to come down. Gas is slightly starting to trickle down. So we're moving towards a very good week up until July 4th, where we're going to have some fun for America's 250th birthday. So everybody have a great week. Thanks for watching. Like and follow for more. We'll see you soon.